All right, good afternoon and good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this great webinar we got here for you guys this Friday afternoon. And we're going to talk about how to take advantage of Google Shopping and build a conversion generating machine. We got a great group of panelists here with me. I am Michael Sine. I'm the Director of Sales over here at Deliver, helping with any onboarding and overseeing our fulfillment specialist team. I'm also joined by Steve as well, who's the product manager over here at Deliver, an engineer who worked on this product on the Deliver end. I'm also joined by Dahlia and Jared over on the Google team, who are going to give you some insight into Google Shopping as well. So without further ado, we're going to go through the agenda here. We're going to talk about what is Google Shopping. Dahlia and Jared will give you some insight there. I'll go ahead and talk about some results we've seen from some of our real sellers here at Deliver. And then Steve is going to talk about how to go ahead and set it up with your Deliver account. And we'll do some Q&A. You're welcome to ask questions at any point on the questions tab, and we'll go ahead and try to answer all of them throughout the webinar as well as at the end. So thanks so much for joining. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Dahlia, who's going to give a brief introduction into what Google Shopping is. Dahlia?
Awesome. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for having us. So definitely excited to share some amazing programs and just updates from the Google Shopping side with everyone. So I'll get started. Go ahead, this next one. So I want to start by reminding everyone that our mission is to make Google the best destination for users to start their shopping journeys, regardless of where they complete those journeys, but as well as for sellers to connect with those users, regardless of whether that purchase happens on our surface or theirs. We've activated shopping across 8 properties with over 1 billion users, which gives access to millions of people who are either looking for something specific or come across products while they're consuming content or experiencing other applications. And it all starts with the consumer journey, and we recognize that the journey isn't really linear, and they vary in length and in touch points. Along the way, there's product reviews, ratings, and third-party perspectives, ads, video, word of mouth, you name it. Shoppers are pretty much engaging in rich experiences and immerse them well before buying. From the merchant or retailer perspective, Google Shopping content is all managed in what we call Google Merchant Center. And within Merchant Center, we offer 3 ways that we can help retailers reach millions of shoppers every day. So they can advertise their products with shopping ads. They can list their products for free with surfaces across Google. And they can also let customers buy products directly on Google. So I'll talk about each of these programs in detail in the coming slides. So with Buy on Google, a merchant with or without a website can list their products and give consumers the opportunity to transact without really leaving the Google UI. So Buy on Google has placement on, Google.com search, the shopping tab, image search, shopping.google.com, which is our shopping property, the shopping app, which has been updated, a few months back, as well as Google Assistant. So it provides users a universal shopping cart that enables access across all of those surfaces, and they can add any of these products with that little shopping cart. I'm not sure if you could see it in that slide, but there's a little shopping cart on product listings that indicate that you can buy that product through Google and add it to that unified cart. So Buy on Google enables really a frictionless shopping experience by using a shareable list, that universal shopping cart I mentioned, as well as instant checkout with saved payment credentials. So it really allows consumers to easily turn browsing into buying. We recently announced some changes to the program, including that reduced commission to 0. Of course, as you bring some, third parties, integrations and things like that, other charges may apply. But from our end, we've reduced that. And you can also now manage your own customer service and returns, which was actually a feature request from merchants like yourself. So I'm happy that we're able to do that for you guys. And lastly, you can now also have better controls within Merchant Center, import your feeds from other marketplaces directly into Merchant Google Center. So you're probably thinking, okay, Well, maybe I already have an account. Maybe I'm already new. How do I get started? You can go to merchants.google.com and sign up there and join the waitlist, and we'll let you know once we've opened that up specifically for the Buy on Google piece. But I'm going to talk about two other of our programs next that don't have a waitlist that you could do now. So earlier this year, before we've announced that zero commission would Buy on Google, we released a huge update to our Services Across Google program. We enabled retailers to list their products on Google Shopping for free without having to spend on ads. So, well, what does that mean? So retailers can submit their product information to Google Merchant Center in any country in which Merchant Center is available to show unpaid experiences. So depending on the listing location, so whether that's the search results page or the shopping tab, for example, we may require additional attributes or data, content-rich data in your product feed to provide a better user experience. So whether that's more images or higher quality or better descriptions, that will enable your product to show up in more surfaces. And lastly, before the days of free listings, we have shopping ads, the bread and butter of Google Shopping. Shopping ads obviously are used by thousands of merchants and retailers to drive traffic to their websites for conversions or just customer acquisition for remarketing purposes. So obviously shopping ads requires additional setup in Google Ads, and has several campaign options like smart shopping campaigns, which uses AI and machine learning, or location inventory ads or showcase ads. And I'm going to show you a little example of what those ads look like on the search results page. So at the top, of course, you see that shopping carousel, followed by the text ads right below and organic results to follow. And then when you click onto that shopping tab and you go to the property, you're now going to see an updated UI. So you're going to see that shopping carousel, the shopping ads on the top, that carousel on the top, as well as co-ranked those unpaid organic listings on the bottom that have the free listings with Services Across Google, as well as the Buy on Google listings there. And lastly, I want to talk about some annotations and highlight the ability to really make your product stand out, to increase, traffic or consumer traffic from, adding local inventory tags or price drops or sales or promotions. So that's something we'd like to highlight and something that Jared's actually going to touch on soon. But I want to just, close my section with just saying, obviously, we're here to always provide the best experience for users and merchants. And we've come a long way just as a platform in general, and excited to see the future and having more merchants on the platform. But I'm actually going to pass it to Jared for him to talk about one of the annotations specifically.
Great. Thank you, Dahlia. Really appreciate being here as well to the Over team. So thanks for having us. As Dahlia mentioned, I'm going to speak to the specific annotation that we showed at the end, very recent addition. It's called the free and fast shipping annotation on shopping ads. So what this is to highlight free and fast delivery to your users through our ads, as the title suggests. I'm going to talk about two things. One, the user experience and why we're motivated to release this feature to sellers like you. And two, the value that sellers like you will see. Okay. So it's no secret to this audience that consumers are more impatient and demanding in e-commerce than ever. They, in particular, want to know if a product has free and fast shipping. For example, 77% of consumers have said that reliable shipping in 2 days or less is important to them when deciding who to buy from. 80% said free and fast shipping would encourage them to make a purchase. 65% said they look up expected shipping price and speed even before getting to checkout. So obviously providing this information to users is highly beneficial to Google and its sellers. So we decided to highlight the free and fast shipping information earlier in the shopping ads journey. This benefits both customers and the retailers. For customers, Obviously, having that relevant free and fast shipping information up front of their shopping journey is highly beneficial, as we just saw. There's actually an example right here for a conceptual mock that shows on Google.com for shopping ads. We have these annotations that are very visual and engage users. For retailers, that means they can achieve increased ads efficiencies just by providing the data to enable these annotations. Now, Dahlia showed an example a couple slides ago, but Deliver is also going to show some examples from their clients as well in just a little bit. But in the meantime, I'd like to show you the value that we saw for our retailers in the pilot that we ran to make sure that this works for users and retailers. So overall, we saw very positive performance for free and fast shipping annotations. One number in particular stood out to us. That was a 9% increase in the checkout conversion rate, conditioned on product impressions. That's pretty impressive. So just by providing the information for free and fast delivery, for the same two ads side by side, one gets a 9% increase in the checkout conversion rate. So we think this is highly beneficial for sellers to provide the information for free and fast shipping. We were so excited when Deliver decided to integrate and participate in the pilot from last year through this year. So now I'm going to hand it off to Michael, who's going to talk about their experience for Google Shopping overall, but also specifically for this free and fast shipping annotation.
Thank you, Jared. Yeah, and we're excited to partner together and to be on this journey with Google Shopping, who really just provides a lot of visibility and empowers the merchants we've already had and future merchants to get more sales. When you think about that search opportunity, I mean, it really helps to accomplish a lot of things for each merchant that we've found. Avoiding that choice paralysis, right? Telling your customers where to buy your product, helping them to purchase it faster, so getting them to purchase it in fewer steps, and then staying present and prominent for all your customers, whether they're A, searching for the product for the first time, or B, they're cross-referencing it because they don't know which platform to purchase it on. And so we want to make sure we're putting you up there, having the best presence, and definitely encouraging the fact that you have that fast shipping tag. So just like Dahlia and Jared mentioned, I do want to talk about how it's actually set up and just give a quick overview. When you have those tags turned on and you have that Google Merchant account, what you can do when you're working with Deliver, you can add a dynamic badge through our Shopify integration right now on your page, on your website, and it'll funnel over to that ad that you're promoting on Google, or funnel over to the Google Shopping action if you're buying it on Google. I'll talk about that as well and some of the results we've seen. For the first one, with regards to Google Shopping ads, we had a client, actually Pregmate, who I think was shown on a previous slide earlier. They were using Deliver last October with Shopify, and they had about 300 to 400 orders a month. In November, they activated that 2-day delivery on Shopify that I just showed you on the previous slide, and they started doing Google Shopping ads. And they saw their sales rise to 1,500 orders a month. That's a 250% sales growth just from using Google Shopping ads for that one merchant. And you'll notice here, they also show that free 1 day as well, which is has a great conversion rate. And that's actually only offered by Deliver right now. We offer a fixed rate for the Shopify badge for that shipping speed that you pay one all-inclusive rate. And for about 40% of the country, we're actually showing free 1 day delivery at no additional cost to the merchants who are utilizing that. So you're getting a 2-day rate guaranteed nationwide with 40% of the country seeing free 1 day as well. So it's a great addition just by using Deliver to fulfill your products with regards to your website and then onto Google Shopping ads. Like Jared mentioned about the conversion rate for just having that annotation. So not even using sometimes the Google ads. If you're in Google Shopping, you have that annotation, free 1 day, free 2 day. We found on average just a 9% conversion rate just by having that annotation on your products as well, whether you're using the Google Shopping ads or you're just using Buy on Google. And so just to sum it up and bring it home, you will get the free 2 day and free 1 day from Deliver when you're using it. And if you're doing ads for your website, basically a customer will go ahead, search for your product on Google. Customer clicks on the Google ad, they're directed to your Shopify website, and then they can go ahead and check out on your Shopify store, and we'll go ahead and ship that product at either that 1 day or 2 day speed from that ad that they originally discovered you on. Then you also have the buy through Google, which Dahlia spoke on earlier. And that's when customers can go ahead and search for your product on Google, and they can click on that Google ad. It has that nice little shopping cart at the top corner, and they can go ahead and check out directly on Google through that buy on Google, and we'll go ahead and ship that product as well. So you have 2 ways to utilize this tool, and we've seen some great results, and we're looking forward to seeing even better results as the months go on. So without further ado, I'm actually going to go ahead and pass it off to Steve, who's going to talk about how do you actually go ahead and set that up, set up Google Shopping in your Deliver Seller portal. So Steve.
Thanks, Michael. I'm Steve. I'm the engineering lead for Google Shopping here at Deliver. And I'm just going to walk you through the setup steps. So you're going to start on the channels page in Seller Portal. Now I've got a Shopify channel opened up right now. But if you're using a listing tool, you can also activate using the listing tool. So you'll see at the bottom right here, there's an activate button used next to Google Shopping 2-day delivery. And that takes you into the setup flow. We've got helpful instructions and animated videos throughout. It kind of shows you how to do it. Try to keep it simple. We've got it down to just 3 steps. So the first step, you're going to select which program you want. As Dahlia and Jared and Michael have discussed, there are 2 different pieces of this, of our integration. One is the buy on Google listing. These are the listings that you just purchase directly on Google, or customers can purchase directly on Google. Now, if you're using a listing tool like Channel Advisor, Sellbrite, most of these listing tools do support Google. They will manage Google orders. There are a few that don't yet. I think they probably will soon, because Google is certainly important integration here. And almost all the major ones do. But if you do have one of these few that don't, this option will be disabled. You won't be able to use buy on Google. Google Ads for your website. Now that one depends on having Shopify 2-day set up. So Shopify 2-day, as Michael discussed, it's more than 2-day. It's Shopify 1 day and 2-day. 1 day in 40% of the country in most of the cases. So you have to have that set up in order to have Google Ads that point to that, because what we're doing here is just keeping these in sync down to the zip code level, so that you're getting that 1-day annotation on the Google ad, and you're it's syncing at the same time with your actual Shopify store. So once you've made that selection, the next step is linking Deliver with Google. And we do this using a special type of account called a service account. This service account, it doesn't let us log into Google Merchant Center, but it does let us perform certain actions on your behalf. So you can't see it here because it's just a screen grab, but in addition to the instructions at the top, we have a helpful video that walks you through exactly how to do this. I'll show you a couple more screenshots on Google Merchant Center for how you would do this. So you would add our service account just like a normal user. You're going to want to give admin access to this service account. Now, in this example I'm showing you here, this is a seller that has ads, but not shopping actions set up. If you have shopping actions set up, you'll have some additional options here. And one you're going to want to, you're also going to want to add is Order Manager. Now, you don't have to worry. If you set up shopping actions later, we'll automatically get that Order Manager permission. But if you already have it set up, you're going to have to do both admin and Order Manager. And what are we doing with all these permissions? There's just a couple of things. We're updating shipping settings. This is how we set up the fast and free shipping, the free 1 day and free 2 day. For the product, we're just updating 2 attributes. It's the transit time label and the shipping label. This is how we assign for a particular product where and whether it's going to get these annotations. The Order Manager piece, this is just so when we get orders, we can tell whether a specific order had this annotation. So once you've done this, you added us, you're going to go back into Seller Portal and you're going to give us your merchant ID. So just one more step, and that's to set up a supplemental feed. And the reason we do this just lets us update. Like I said, we're only updating these 2 product attributes. This lets us update just those 2, not interfere with any of your other product updates, not interfere with any of your other feeds or integrations that you have going on. So again, we give you some instructions here. We have a video here. You're going to go in, you're going to create a supplemental feed. It's going to be a content API feed. You'll come back into Seller Portal. You will submit the feed ID, click finish, and then you're done. You're all set. And with that, does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, it looks like we got some questions popping up on the side. We'll try to answer all of them here for you. So I'll go ahead and I'll ask the first one. Does Google Ads support BigCommerce?
Yes, there is some type of integration. I don't know the specifics on it, but definitely reach out to BigCommerce and they'll be able to help you with ad conversions and things like that.
I know we had one that was just answered directly to this. Is, do you need to have a Google Merchant account first before linking deliver to Google? Yes, you do need to have an existing Google Merchant account, as Steve just showed you through the walkthrough there. Another question, is the free and fast shipping based on the customer zip code or their Google account, on their Google account, or the IP address location?
Okay, I can give a shot at that, but Stephen, you might be able to elaborate on how you approach it from the deliver side. So free and fast shipping is based on 2 things. One is the customer location, which Google does determine based off of a variety of methods. And the other is the promise that a retailer through, for instance, in this case, with Deliver, has provided for that zip code. So for instance, if I'm here in Mountain View, that in California, and Google sees that it's zip code 94043, in Merchant Center with Deliver, you've programmed that for a specific product or offer. You can get it there in 1 day. We would show that 1 day promise. If you have a user on the other side of the country and you just have the inventory in your West Coast warehouse, for instance, it might be a 3 day or 2 day or 4 day, whatever you programmed into Google Merchant Center. But it's specific to your use case, and the setup is something that Deliver can help you with, just like they did on our pilot. Michael, do you have any? Excuse me, Stephen, do you have anything to add?
Sure, I'll just add how we do it on the Shopify side. So for Shopify, we do detect based on the IP, but we also provide on the product listing pages, we provide an entry where the customer can see what zip code we're using, and they can override it. To maybe the IP lookup was incorrect, but also maybe they're purchasing it as a gift for somebody else or want to ship it somewhere else. So we give that option there on the Shopify side.
Cool. I see another one here. It says, I've heard fast tags do not appear for items that are enabled for buy on Google. Is that correct? I believe that's likely associated with maybe not having fast tag enabled on your website first. And Steve, feel free to chime in here if I'm missing anything. But I believe once it's enabled there and then you enable the Google step that Steve went through, it should show up on there as well.
Yeah, well, actually, I do have to chime in here, Michael. That is, you are right. That is the vision and the goal, to bring these annotations in the right places across the Google shopping surfaces. Right now, our first step is to have it on Google.com, the main Google.com page, shopping ads that show up at the top of the page when you have an e-commerce related search. So very powerful place where hundreds of millions of shoppers come each day for shopping related queries. But of course, we're going to continue to experiment on the user experience and the annotations in various ways. So stay tuned for where it's going to show and how and what we do around that delivery promise. So If you get that data in the Google Merchant Center, we'll work with it to improve the user experience and therefore benefit the sellers who provided that information.
Appreciate the clarification there, Jared. Great.
Thanks.
I think we have some other questions here. I see one question that was answered a while ago. The top 3 tips for Google Shopping. What are the top 3 tips for Google Shopping?
Oh goodness. In general, if you're talking buy on Google, you definitely want good images and more than just one. You want really rich descriptions. Those really help drive conversions, as well as being price competitive. So get to know your market, get to know, the items you're selling, what they're selling at everywhere else, and make sure that honestly shipping sells. So get that fast tag in there and get 2-day or 1 day if you can. I would say those are the top 3.
Great. Be waitlisted for Google Shopping Actions.
Yes, we're slowly opening it up. I can't say that a specific time frame. To be honest, I don't even have that. But as we progress, that window will get shorter and shorter. And then I actually did see another question in here about if Shopping Actions doesn't have your sales channel. So when you actually go to set up an account within with Google Merchant Center, you can actually let us know which either channel advisors or other integration partners or PSPs that you're using, because we are, of course, trying to expand our partnership network there. So you don't necessarily have to only have Shopify to integrate with us. If you have a smaller catalog and you want to do a manual upload or anything like that, you're welcome to do that as well.
And I've been watching this for the last several months. I've seen several, like Listen Mirror, have started adding Google. It seems to be happening really quickly. The main exception right now seems to be seller active, but it's nice to see the trajectory has been that everybody's been incorporating Google, and they claim to they seem to really see how important it is.
For sure, we're definitely on that map now that we weren't on people's radars before. So that's good news.
See a question here on, does Deliver support WooCommerce website? We do, through an integration tool. I also think there's another question about just tags in general, since what I went through was on Shopify. And I know there's folks who may want to take advantage of those annotations, but are not on Shopify. Steve, you want to elaborate on anything there? If people can add tags to other sites, or if there's anything in the works there?
Certainly in the works, yes. We are working on a universal tool for any site, kind of a dev kit, and then building more like we have with Shopify, but with some of the other shopping carts, a non-dev kit, something that will work automatically like we have with Shopify. So certainly in the works. Watch this space.
Great.
And I see a question here. Do I have to have a certain level of Shopify subscription in order to integrate with both Deliver and Google? I'll just speak to the Deliver side. So just to integrate with Deliver, no, any subscription works. For fast tags, you do need access to something called the Carrier Service API. And this is what lets us add at checkout the free 2-day, free 1-day. Currently, Shopify requires you either have a Plus or Premium account, or any account that's paid annually. They will let you have this. You can also talk to them, and it's up to them whether they want to do it. It seems to be a common thing. If you ask for them to offer it a la carte, they generally will let you pay month to month a la carte for just this Carrier Service API. But didn't hear it from me.
Yeah. And then, yeah, for the Google, not to my knowledge, we have obviously the Google app within the Shopify App Store that you can connect to, and it should send your product feeds, no problem.
Dolly, I see a question on what countries have shopping actions available.
Oh.
That's currently U.S. and France, right? Is
US and France, exactly, yeah.
And I think we answered how long does it take for your Google Shopping account to be approved. Constantly working to make that happen. It's a fairly new changes that we've had. But we didn't answer the second question, is a hot dog a sandwich? I would vote no, because hot dog has a very special place in my heart at ball games, and I wouldn't qualify as a sandwich because I don't really like sandwiches that much. But maybe some of the other presenters here have different opinions.
My vote is also no.
Same.
Strict sandwich definition.
I see a question here. I think I missed it. Do you have to offer two-day free shipping to connect to Google Shipping? I guess in that Google Shopping actions are in the that we just went through. So yes, you do from the deliver end to get that annotation. You do have to offer it and enable that to deliver.
Yeah.
No, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Barry.
I was just going to say, for the free and fast annotation, exactly what Michael said. And, obviously, Michael and Steve can speak to what they need from the deliver side. In general, shipping information, it's required in some cases for some features. Like, Dolly, I believe any shipping information, like any shipping promise, is required for the shopping actions, the buy on Google feature.
Absolutely.
But it's not necessarily required to list for some of our other features, but it definitely improves the user experience and then therefore conversion, as we saw. So we encourage sellers to provide the information, in particular work with partners like Deliver to provide competitive shipping promises and information and merge them.
Got it. And I know we have, go for it, Steve.
Oh, I was just going to point out too, if you're hesitant on 2-day, you've looked at the cost in general of shipping, say 2-day nationwide. I think maybe it's prohibitive. I'd say look at specifically Deliver's prices for these fast tag programs for Shopify 2-day, which is what would matter for ads, or Google 2-day, same price actually, but that would be for the buy on Google. And they're substantially lower than even what we offer for our standard 2-day. And the reason is because we have this zip code level control. We can really only offer it at any given moment to the places where we can ship to cheaply, based on inventory, based on how the carriers are performing. I think, we all know that's been changing a lot. So, we can update that constantly and keep the prices specifically for Google Shopping, for Shopify 2-day low, when you give us control of where 2-day shows.
Yeah, to piggyback off what Steve said, if you're interested, you can go to deliver.com and just click on cost calculator at the top. You can either, you can go ahead and just type in dimensions and wait, and you get the all-inclusive cost. It would be under that Shopify 2-day quote that you get there. So you can go check that out right now if you're interested. I know we had a few questions asked in advance to this about getting set up on Google right away. There's a few just in terms of how do I just get started? Is there a kind of like one link answer there you guys can provide for anyone who has any insight of how do I just go get my merchant account set up?
Yeah, of course. So if you go direct to merchants.google.com, on the upper right, you can literally sign up there. And once you get into that initial window, you have a manage program section on literally, it's just the left side panel of tabs, and you can go in there and pick the programs that you want to opt into. And once you upload your feed, you can direct where you want your feed to go. If you want it to only go to buy on Google, if you only want to do shopping ads, or if you have your website and you only want to do free listings, that's an option too. So it's really customizable on the back end, but it's very simple in essence to go to merchants.google.com and sign up from there.
Great. Let's see a question. Can we set up an account on Google Shopping on an e-com site like GoDaddy and then switch over to Shopify later?
I mean, that sounds more honestly like a Shopify question. I personally don't know the switch between a GoDaddy into Shopify, but
Yeah.
yes, you can add multiple. There's a question about adding if you can add multiple users to a Google account. Absolutely. So when a person, when whomever it may be, creates that first account, that you can go into settings within users and give roles to every single person that you want to have access to that account. And they can go ahead and log in and either have admin access or orders access or all of the above, or, again, it's very customizable and what people have access to, what they can change, what they can't change, things like that.
Seems like we got most of the questions covered here. Great. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I appreciate you all joining me. Steve, Dahlia, Jared, thank you so much. And everyone on the webinar, thanks for joining. If you have any questions, feel free to go to the links we mentioned. We'll also post a recording of this webinar live. And thanks so much, and have a great rest of your Friday and a great rest of your weekend. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Have a great weekend.
Bye, guys.